What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James. We in these streets. We in these defensive tackle streets. This is the subject. This is the topic I want to talk about because this is what has been the Achilles heel for the Dallas Cowboys for a very, very long time. And until they finally really address this and really get some guys that are some difference makers in this middle, it's still going to be the same thing with this defense. Maybe some sacks, a lot of good pressures, but when teams really dial in and want to dig in and really want to be physical with the Cowboys and run, it happens. And it's been the Achilles heel, in my opinion, and it's what people have been screaming, what I've been screaming for 100 years. So let's jump right into it. I don't think it's no news on the front, so basically we're going for the grades today. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the defensive tackle position, players you like. I know my one guy in there loves Kenneth Gant, but this is just the subject that the Cowboys need to hit this. So we talked about the defensive ends already. I gave them a B. You got Micah, you got Sam, you got Marshawn Nealon, you got Dante Fowler back in the fold. That's really good. Gave him a B. D for the cornerback position. You got a couple of really good players in Diggs and Bland, but we don't know what's happening with them. Diggs is becoming a little injury prone. Bland, I don't know about that CB1 contract, and then everything behind it. It's a lot of unknown. So I went ahead and gave that a D. The defensive tackle position, I'm already tell you right now. Osa and the Solomon Thomas, they save it, but it's still like a D for me. Would be an F if you didn't bring back Osa. I'm just keeping it real. So let's talk about who's in the building right now. Mozzie Smith, Denzel Jackson, Justin Rogers, Ernest Brown, Osa Ogunbowale, Solomon Thomas. Those are your guys who you have in the fold right now. Obviously, you had Linval Joseph. He is an unrestricted free agent. He was on the team last year, showed a little bit. He got the big space heater size, but, he's 36 years old now. You can't depend on that. Linval Joseph in his 30s, you were like, okay, let's get some Linval Joseph. Linval Joseph at 36, he's just a stopgap. He's not going to be a difference maker. He can make some plays here and there, but he's not a guy that you want to rely on. They need to get some guys. Much like the Eagles, when they got Jalen Carter, he changed the whole defense. You saw defense wins championships. I'm a defensive guy. I ain't no offensive guy. I like offense, but I'm a defensive guy. Law always says minister of defense. That's what actually was my nickname when I played basketball, the minister of defense, because I used to shut people down. But that room I just already mentioned, that ain't a room that I'm excited about. If you're talking about Osa, I like that pick, but we're talking about the 0 and the 1 tech defensive tackles, the run stopping guys, the guys that are there to plug the holes, free your linebackers, free your defensive ends. They make it easier for everybody, right? We seen that guy over there in Tampa, that guy in the middle. He's pretty good. Vita Vea changes the whole defense. When you get that space eater, you saw with the Baltimore Ravens, when they had them guys, Siragusa and those guys, made it better for Ray Lewis and them. You must have a space eater, and not just a space eater, a dog, a Hogley, Onata. That man not was just a stuffer. He could get after the quarterback. He could just disrupt and wreck whole games. When you do that, as you saw what Jalen Carter in that front did in that Super Bowl, it changes everything. Defense still wins championships in my book, not offense. You get a great defense, you can have a good offense, but that defense carries. It'll travel in the dirt, in the rain, in the mud, and it'll save you. And then your offense ain't got to score 30 points a game. It can get away with a 10-point, 13-point game and win because your defense shut them down. That's what they need, and they need a defensive tackle in the middle, in my opinion. So as I said before, Osa, love him. Love that he came back, but he's a 3-tech. He's a pass rushing guy. He is not a run specialist. So you love what he brings to the table. He can hit the edge. He gives you pass rushing ability. He can stunt, do all those type of things. But the run game is not his forte. Solomon Thomas, I like him. Like I said, pass rushing. I think he can be able to maybe stop the run here and there. But he is not the guy in the middle that's going to be stopping this run that you need. The guys that you need that I'm talking about would be the Mozzie Smith type. The ones that they drafted 2 years ago that hasn't fulfilled the first round draft pick. And I said before, I don't ever think he will. I'm hoping and praying, but I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I didn't see it on the tape when they drafted him. I ain't gonna lie, I was just doing the hype because I seen that 337. But when we saw him drop under them 300s, that negated all that, because the only reason why I was hyped about a Mozzie Smith was because I saw the measurables at 6'3", 337 pounds. The 337 what stood out to me, not nothing else. And I didn't see nothing else on that tape to really say you should have drafted him in the first round. I'm not going to say he's a bust, but I'm sorry. I'm just not confident in Mozzie, and they need to still continue to upgrade. They picked up Justin Rogers in the 6th round last year, let him go. He's back around. They got him listed at 346 pounds. I don't know if that's true because they still have Mozzie at 337. So I don't know how true that is at him at 346. I think he's more close to the 300 range like a Mozzie is. And then, if that's the case, if you still have Mozzie hovering around the 305, maybe 310, no, you need a 330. You need a 330. You need, when they had Quentin Bohanna, he just didn't, I guess, pan out, but I felt like you let him go too early because he started showing you something, and that was a true big body. You feel me? You need a run stuffer. You need a zero tech, a guy that can shoot, a 1-2-way gap, a guy who can take that center and guard and push that pocket back, push the quarterback, push that pocket. We need a difference maker at defensive tackle. Straight up. I mean, that's just what we need. The guys that you have in the building aren't it, in my opinion. Not close to it. These are a bunch of reserves, Mozzie included. Maybe he takes the next step. I'm praying that he does, but I don't believe it. If he does, that'd be awesome, but I still don't believe it. So, let's go on back since 2020. This is the yards per game the Dallas Cowboys have given up on the ground. 2020, 158. 2021, 115. 2022, 124. 2023, 114. And then last year, 137 overall and 157 at home. So these are the yards that were given up in this time in the last 4 years, let's say. Not good. Not good. And Dallas gave up 25 rushing TDs last season, most in the NFL. They were damn near dead last in run defense in the NFL and gave up the most rushing TDs in the NFL last year. It must be addressed. It must be addressed. Now, I get it. This 44th pick, to me, are the most critical picks out there. Because I don't know if you're going to trade back, but you got to, in my opinion, you got to get at least 2 defensive tackles in this draft and some difference makers. I know Dallas needs a running back, for sure. Dallas needs a receiver, for sure. But if we're going by the Cowboys thought pattern, they may not touch that receiver early because they went and got the Jonathan Mingo, and then they went and, they did those little things. They got Parrish Campbell. I'm not saying these are difference makers, but they maybe want to give Jalen Tolbert. If you're going to lean, if the Cowboys' philosophy is going to lean on, well, we got a couple running backs, and you still need one. We got some receivers. You still need one. You lean on that defensive tackle then, because you need that. You need some guys in the middle. And there's some guys, this is one of the best drafts, as they said, in the running back position. This is one of the best drafts as for defensive tackles. I'm going to post a little snippet of some defensive tackles that are coming out in the draft that make you feel good. But I had a list. Kenneth Grant, Michigan. My guy been talking about him. That's like a 334. Derek Harmon from Oregon. Dog, 315, but he's a dog. My guy, who I want from OHIO out here, Tyleek Williams, 6'3", 334. For real, 334. And I'm telling you, that guy, Larry Johnson, who's the defensive line coach at Ohio State, he got them boys right. That's who I want. Tyleek Williams, O-State, get him at 44, punch that in, and get somebody else in another round. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, that 44th pick got to go for a defensive tackle and a dog. That's where I'm going at for the second round pick. I want a defensive tackle and I want a dog. So I just gave you some names. TJ Sanders, Alfred Collins, Deion Walker, Omar Norman Lott, the kid from Indiana. There's so many guys, but I don't want to just, if you're going to get two, I'm cool with getting two big ones. I'm cool with getting two 330s. I'm cool with that. 340s, I'm cool with that. But if you want to get a 340 and a 330 and a 310 who can really push that pocket too, I'm cool. But I really would take two defensive tackles in this draft. It must be addressed. Dallas cannot continue to go by and let this defensive tackle position saying, oh, well, we got a Justin Rogers in the 6th round, or, I get it. I'm not mad that they went out after that position a couple years ago, but you just picked the wrong guy. I don't know where Mozzie just got you hyped. I don't know about the evaluation, because Dallas just don't know how to evaluate defensive tackles. They can kill the offensive line as far as evaluation, but the defensive line, especially the defensive tackle position, they just are not good talent evaluators out of it, and they got to figure that out, because I'm telling you, you've seen it. When you can get a game-wrecking defensive tackle, a guy that can stop the run, can give you some pass rushing, but can open the spaces for your linebackers and just destroy offensive lines, it changes the whole game. It makes the whole game easier. And you already got a Micah Parsons. You got dogs on the defensive ends. They'll eat if you get that record in the middle. If you had, let's say, like if Dallas had a Vita Vea and you had a Micah Parsons on the outside and these other guys that could just rush the passer, look what Dallas did in 22, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Just on the pass rushing, the sacks were crazy, and you didn't even have that type of guy. Imagine if you got that type of guy, man. It changed the whole defense. It could change. I don't know if it's going to change the whole team, but I'm telling you what, it's going to make life easier for everybody else around on the defense and on the offense, because like I said, defense travels, defense carries, defense wins championships, and I've been screaming that since the cows come home. You feel what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, Cowboys, this is the most important position that you need to upgrade in this draft. We're talking about it again, but you got to upgrade it. I say get two defensive tackles, and that 44th pick got to go to a defensive tackle and a dog. Not just somebody, a dog. Do your evaluation, please, Cowboys, and make that happen. But for me, the overall grade for the Cowboys room right now is a D. Could be a D minus. And the only reason why I'm giving it a D is because Osa came back in the fold. I like Osa, but he's not that run stopper. Solomon Thomas, I like him. I think he gives you pass rushing ability. He had 8.5 sacks since 2023. But listen what I'm saying. They give you pass rushing ability. They are not the run stoppers. You need to get guys in here that can stop the run, make a difference in the run game, and make it easier for your linebackers. You need a game record. You need to get a couple of these guys in this draft. Make it happen. Figure it out, because if you don't, it's going to be another long season on that defense, especially in the run game. That bleeding's got to stop. You can't be averaging 125 yards rushing a game, 137 yards rushing a game, 25 touchdowns scored on your defense. No, that can't continue to happen. You're not going to win. You're definitely not going to think you're going to get ever to a championship or anything like that with that type of play in the middle. So that's my thoughts on it. Check out the quick post. Look up the defensive tackles. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Is this one of the most important positions that need to be upgraded in the draft? What would you do? Would you get a couple defensive tackles in this draft? Throw some names out, maybe some people y'all like. But would you be in agreement with me saying that middle, specifically Space Eater, needs to be addressed, and you got to get a dog? Because if not, you're going to be just spinning in circles, in my opinion. Give me your thoughts. I really want to hear them in this one. Big Game James, I'm out. Peace.